You may remember the story. Madison, Wisconsin protests. A woman named Althea Bernstein claimed that several men attacked her and set her ablaze. And a lot of people didn't believe it because the photos of the injuries looked like abrasions, like she fell down, not like burns. Well, the FBI joined into the local investigation to figure out what was really going on, and now we have a major breaking update. Of course, no evidence was found to suggest that any white men attacked this woman. In fact, some people were suggesting that they think she may have gotten burned throwing a Molotov cocktail. But as it turns out, police say GPS data from her phone and surveillance footage proves she was, in fact, very, very far away from wherever this supposed incident was supposedly to have happened. And I'm going to be very careful with my language because we're a very litigious country, but it would appear that based on these stories, and in my personal opinion, hoax, just my personal opinion, which may be wrong, that's fair. Check out this story first. I'll show you some of the details. They say, Madison police said Friday, the FBI is joining its investigation into an incident in which a biracial African-American woman said a group of 4 white men hurled a racial epithet at her before spraying her face with lighter fluid and setting her on fire. The woman, 18-year-old Althea Bernstein of Madison, said she suffered 2nd and 3rd degree burns to her face in the incident early Wednesday. Madison police spokesman Joel Despain said Friday the detective investigating the case is still reviewing any possible surveillance video of the incident and gathering other evidence and has been in touch with Bernstein. Now, considering the injuries likely aren't real, at least if this story is true, I wonder if YouTube will get mad at me for having a photo of potentially fake injuries or whatever it might be. Sure, I'm going to get demonetized. Yeah, fine, whatever. Well, here's the major breaking update. Prosecutors, not enough evidence to prove Wisconsin attack. Well, does that mean it didn't happen? No. It means they didn't find any evidence. But they don't go as far as to suggest that she staged it. They say, there's not enough evidence to prove that a group of white men set a young biracial woman on fire during a chaotic night of protests in Wisconsin's capital this summer, federal prosecutors said Friday. Detectives were unable to find any surveillance video that shows an alleged attack taking place. But they did find footage indicating the woman wasn't in the city at the time she says she was attacked, according to investigative reports. Okay, are you going to file criminal charges for filing a false police report? Is anyone going to follow up and hold this individual accountable, assuming this is true? I'd like to see the evidence. I really doubt it. Althea Bernstein, 18, told police she was attacked by 4 white men while driving through a protest in downtown Madison around 1 a.m. on June 24th. Bernstein said she was stopped at a red light when she heard someone yell a racial slur, and one of the men sprayed her with lighter fluid through an open window and threw a flaming lighter at her, setting her neck and face on fire. She drove away, put out the flames, and was treated for burns at a hospital, she said. A team of federal, state, and local investigators probed the allegations as a possible hate crime. On Friday, the U.S. Attorney's Office in Madison issued a statement saying the investigation was closed without charges filed. The statement said investigators conducted extensive interviews, as well as an exhaustive review of traffic and surveillance cameras, as well as digital and forensic evidence, and couldn't establish that the attack occurred. Madison Acting Police Chief Vic Wall issued his own statement, saying detectives were unable to locate evidence consistent with what was reported. Bernstein's family issued a 3-sentence statement through the Madison Police Department, saying they appreciate the investigators' work. Quote, Althea Benjamin and her family appreciate the detailed investigative efforts by all involved in this case. Althea's injuries are healing, and the support of our community has been invaluable in that regard. We continue to maintain our family privacy and will not be granting interviews at this time. The alleged assault, came during a night of violence that included the toppling of 2 statues outside the Capitol and an attack on a state senator. A group of up to 300 people protested the arrest of a black man after he shouted at restaurant customers through a megaphone while carrying a baseball bat. Okay, let's stop for a second, because what? Yes, a video went viral showing a man carrying a baseball bat entering a restaurant and screaming in people's faces with a megaphone. And then, because the guy got arrested, 300 people came out, toppled statues. Mind you, one of the statues was Hans Christian Heg, a Civil War hero who fought for the Union to abolish slavery. He was like a hardcore abolitionist, and I'm pretty sure he died fighting to free the slaves and end slavery. But of course, they tore his statue down because, white supremacy and all that, and then started destroying things. And then this woman came out and said she was attacked by white men. It was like Jussie Smollett all over again, and a lot of people didn't really believe it. And I still don't believe it. And I guess with this AP story, it is quite unbelievable. And I mean that in a literal sense. According to investigative documents, Bernstein told the responding officer she is Hispanic and black. Someone also threw a Molotov cocktail into a government building and attempted to break into the Capitol, only to be repelled by pepper spray from police station inside. The violence prompted Governor Tony Evers to activate the National Guard to protect state properties. You know what's really funny? This was in June. Mr. Governor Evers, could you have maintained a security presence in your state and maybe prevented, say, I don't know, Kenosha from getting as bad as it did? Talk about pathetic and failed leadership. Madison police on Friday released more than 150 pages of reports detailing the investigation. Traffic and surveillance camera footage shows Bernstein's vehicle stopped only once and that no one was around the car. The footage also shows that her window was closed throughout and she was traveling in the right lane, not the left, as she told investigators. None of the cameras picked up a group of 4 white men that matched Bernstein's descriptions, a report said. But footage does show her in Middleton, a suburb about 15 minutes from downtown Madison, just before 1 a.m. GPS data from her phone corroborates that as her location. An arson dog found no trace of a lighter or other incendiary devices in her car, and investigators found the car wasn't damaged. Tests did reveal a substance consistent with lighter fluid on her shirt, however, and her medical records indicate she was treated for burns hours after the attack allegedly happened. Maybe she's telling the truth. I don't know. They found no evidence. When confronted by Detective Justine Harris in August, Bernstein said she didn't understand why there wasn't any evidence of the attack. She said she was worried about what might happen when the reports were made public, saying she has been threatened on social media and that investigators were treating her like a suspect. I wonder why. Could it be that she was involved in the Molotov cocktail incident and then fled and lied about what happened? And that's why her GPS shows her far away? And maybe she did get burns because she was playing with fire? Could be. I don't know, to be completely honest. And I always try to reserve judgment because, look, man, you don't want to fall for a Jussie Smollett situation in any direction, right? Harris told Bernstein's attorney, she stated, "I know what happened to me." Harris told Bernstein's attorney, Andrea Sumter, during a meeting Tuesday that no one planned to file any charges against Bernstein, saying there's no evidence she colluded with anyone to make a false report, and there was no evidence she was involved in any of the destruction during the protest. Harris told Sumter that Bernstein had clearly suffered injuries to her face and that detectives were interested in whether someone else had hurt her in a different way than she had alleged. Sumter said she had no alternative information from Bernstein or her family about how she was burned and acknowledged that there can be many reasons why a victim might not want to be forthcoming about who caused injuries, Harris wrote. Sumter didn't immediately respond to messages Friday. That is completely fair, to be honest. I know many of you probably want to, you find the hoaxsters and prove them wrong, but hold on a minute. I don't want to operate under the presumption that this person did stage a hoax and then be mad we couldn't prove it. I don't know at all what happened. I think it's likely it was a hoax. I think it's likely that she lied, but it could actually be as the police said. Like, let's try and be as objective as possible. Perhaps she was injured by someone else and is just trying to cover for them, or she's scared of them. And that's legit, right? Maybe there's someone abusive in her life who did burn her, did attack her, and she needed a way to get treatment, justifying, explaining what happened without setting someone else upon her. This kind of stuff happens in domestic abuse situations. So look, while my personal opinion leans towards I think she was hoaxing everybody, and whether or not she was the victim, if she lied about being attacked by these 4 guys, she's still kind of creating that hoax. She may actually be the victim in some capacity. And maybe there was a false report. The police have decided not to engage, I suppose. We don't know. And I guess it would suggest that they don't have evidence to go either direction. And that's the way things should work. There have been a lot of hate crime hoaxes, however, and there are maps tracking this stuff. And that's why I think many people might default to the position that she's legit lying, right? I'm sorry, man. I'm not going to play those same games. Just because there are many hate crime hoaxes doesn't mean this is one of them. And maybe some more information will come out in the future, but I'll tell you right now, I spend too much of my day fact-checking and debunking fake news to go anywhere near wanting to engage in it with speculation. That's why I always say, look, they say Trump's a liar. Well, Trump's wrong a lot of the time, but you're not psychic. You don't know what someone's intent is. You don't know if they were trying to manipulate you and knew the truth, right? In this instance and in many other instances, it may actually look really bad for the victim, but innocent until proven guilty. If they're not going to come out with charges, let alone, like, if they're not going to try, like, if she's not even going to be convicted, let alone even charged, then I'm not inclined to claim that this is a hoax. I will be fair and say, I think it is a hoax. You know what I mean? I don't know. Look, there's a difference between facts and opinion. My opinion, I think she faked it because, you know, the riots that were happening, the narrative that was emerging, and it was an opportunity for her to say, like, she fell and then blame it on somebody else. But the only facts we have as of right now is that nothing happened. That's it. Nothing happened. She was in a different place. She lied about it. We don't know why. And that's about all we'll get. Don't get Jussie Smolletted. And it can go in either direction. Not believing or believing. Wait for the facts. Don't be tricked by fake news. I'll leave it there. I got a couple more segments coming up in just a few minutes. So stick around and I will see you all shortly.